half stepping. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. A little Lenny Kravitz in there, Black and White America and whatnot. Listen to those words, man. We got to share this country, black and white, and everybody in the middle of that spectrum. So, little Lenny Kravitz, he black and he white, and that's the way he's singing that song. So, Big Ruben's in here jamming. He never heard the song. He's making a face when it first came on, but now he sees my vision for the night, April P.
He finally has it. You brought him to the light.
Yeah, brought him to the light. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're going to go ahead and end the show with our rants and with our closings. And as we do every single week, we always let the guest in the room go ahead and get the final word first. April P.
First of all, thank you guys for letting me come into the man cave. I appreciate it.
We ain't got no flat screens in here.
Anyway, one thing I do want to say, we've been talking about elections and voting and hurricanes, and I just want to say that if you are able to vote, please get out and vote. There are people on my Facebook page, on my news feed, talking about, how their right was taken away. We have the, if you're a felon, convicted felon, you lose your right to vote and all of this other stuff. And there are people who really want their voice to be heard, and they can't speak. So please make sure you get out and vote. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care how you vote. But just know that if you don't, you must shut up for the next 4 years. There is nothing you can come. 4, at least 4. There's nothing you can complain about, and don't let long lines send you back home or keep you from voting. Call your boss. You're gonna be a few minutes late, something. But those long lines that you don't want to stand in, just remember your parents and grandparents doing their sittings and doing their marches, and how their feet hurt and bled and blistered so you could get up and go to work and vote. So please, whatever you do tomorrow, make sure you vote, make sure your voice is heard. And that is April P.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Carlton Banks. It's not unusual, brother.
It's not unusual to be. Oh, let me stop. You know what? Tomorrow's gonna be a fun day, because come 9 o'clock tomorrow night, it's gonna be a lot of controversy. A lot of people gonna be on Facebook upset. What do you people really do with bumper stickers and things of that nature when their candidate loses? I mean, you ever wonder that? You ever see people going down the street and you still got Sarah Palin on your bumper? From a standpoint of, who the heck is Sarah Palin other than the girl they be talking about in that song? They politic it like that Sarah Palin. Who is she? For real. I mean, what do people do with that stuff? Anybody know? I just want to know. I mean, really. It's not like I can recycle it, right? Are they going to run again in 4 years? I just want to know. I mean, I want to be able to have the benefit of saying, if I'm an Obama supporter or a Romney supporter, again, Obama can't run again, so you know where that's going after the end of tomorrow. But if I'm a Romney supporter, can I use that again in 4 years? I just want to know. Really. It's that simple. I'm all about preserving the earth. Preserving the earth and making sure that I recycle. A lot of people, see, we don't talk about that on this show a lot. We talk about politics, saving the kids, but we don't talk about preserving the earth. I just letting y'all know, recycling is a big thing. So if your person you're campaigning for don't win, you make sure you preserve whatever you have for them and use it again next year, because there's a possibility they run again. I'm just asking, seriously, for real, because see, it's not like the inspection stickers and the tags you pay for every year on your license plate. You can scrape those things off and stuff and whatnot. You get the little razor, but do you really take a razor blade and scrape your bumper off? Because I saw one thing that said it didn't even look like Chrysler made the car. It looked like Romney made the car with so many things on the back of it. I mean, really. I'm just asking. That's why I say it's not unusual. I mean, that's just. What you got, Ruben?
Carlton Corner. That was Carlton's Corner. Big Rube. As you do every single week, it's time to smash him, brother. What you
I'm
got,
supposed
man?
to follow that.
You are.
Yeah.
You're supposed to follow that.
First of all, I'd like to give a pound my big man Banks. Give a pound to my big man Marcus J. I'd like to also give a pound to all our men out there who keep themselves out of trouble, who raise their children, and who do the things they're supposed to do. I thank you, because this may be the only thank you may get for a long, long time. Simply because men never get thanked for anything. Ever. You know, do we get thanked for paying that light bill? No. Do we get thanked for making sure that car is inspected and the oil change got done? No. No. Do we just get thanked for being there and sitting there watching the worst TV that you watch, and we sit there and watch because we care about you? No. 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 You know, me and Marcus J had a spirited argument yesterday on Facebook. He brought up the Black Girls Rock thing, and I'm cool with that. But where's the brothers rock? Where's the black men rock? You know, you sit up here, and I love black women. I love women. Dear mama, I love my mother to death. You know, however, the problem is nobody loves daddy. There's no song about how great my dad was. There's no song about how great the dude who holds down his job and pay his bills and pay child support for his kids on time about, because he can't live with his crazy ex-wife or ex-girlfriend. You never hear stuff about that. You know what I'm saying? To me is almost to the point where it's getting disrespectful. And then on top of that, we have these stupid shows on TV that sit there and just make women look so terrible. But we watch that every week. We embrace that. Girl, what did Nene do yesterday? But I don't care what Nene. Did she change the price of tea in China? How about you sit here and you sit there while you watching that crap with your man and look at him and be like, thank you for watching this crap with me, baby. Even though I could have did this by myself, you did this because you care about me. Knowing full well he's thinking in his head, these women are stupid as all get out on this television. How do people like this crap? You know, all I'm saying is to say this. Look, you need to go ahead and take 5 minutes out your day. Kiss your man on the lips. I'm not saying that you need to go out and have a ticker tape parade for him, but if you do, that's cool. But you need to sit there and thank your man just for being there. Thank your baby's daddy for making sure that, you know, the child support is there on time. She ain't got to chase you down for nothing. You know, sit there and thank that dude on the street. Hey, you know, thank you for not being in jail. Thank you for holding it down. Because you know what? A lot of us are being disrespected on a daily basis, and we don't even know it. You always hear about all the terrible brothers out there, how bad they are, how much they're in jail, how they did this, how they did that. Girl, he cheated on me, he don't treat me right. How about the dudes who actually do right? And then when you get a good man, you don't want him because you want the bad boy. Grow up, women. Take care of your man, because if you don't take care of your man, some other woman will. This Big Rube's a smash. I'm out.
Big Rube and a smash. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Thank you so much to everybody that listened to the show tonight. I want to thank DJ Renee Melendez for calling us up and being part of the show. She's joined us in studio. She's joined us by phone several times. She's a fan of the show. She's a part of the show. We appreciate her contribution. I want to say thanks to T Hunt. Thanks for listening, bro. I want to say thanks to Sid. I want to say thanks to everybody that listened to us. Of course, too many names to mention. I can't say everybody's name, but do the best I can to shout out who I can. Once again, final thoughts on the Red Cross. I want to make sure that we let everybody know to hit the redcross.org. Contact them by phone at 1-800-RED CROSS or text them Red Cross to 90999 to donate $10 to the Red Cross with regards to the relief in the storm that was going on in the tri-state area. One quick thing I want to share before I get into my rant. Make sure when you go to the polls tomorrow, make sure you're reading the amendments that are going to be on the books for your various states. Here in Virginia, they have an amendment for eminent domain and your protection with regards to eminent domain. And for those folks who don't know what that means, eminent domain is when the government could come in and they could take your property for the better use of the public. And there's going to be a question on the Virginia ballot tomorrow that is going to ask you about it. Make sure you read it. Make sure that you're comfortable with what it says, because you ain't got to be a homeowner to be affected by eminent domain. If you rent and the person that owns the place gets jacked, guess what? You got to be out yourself. So keep that in mind. Not just in Virginia, but in every single state. There's states that are asking if marijuana can be legal. I'm kind of partial to making marijuana legal, but that's another story. Just make sure you read what it says and vote your conscience. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. It's time for me to say my piece. It's time for me to get on out of here. And once again, as I have been in the last few weeks, I'm politically sound, and my rant is going to be somewhat related to what we're going to be doing tomorrow morning starting at 6 a.m. Tomorrow, of course, we go to the polls to vote for the next president of the United States. All the phone calls, all the ads, all the mailings, all the swipes, all the insults, all the digs, all the polls. I just got one question for the listeners. When it's all over, can we just support the winner and move on with our country? For real? I am on record with who I support. If I have not been clear, I support President Barack Hussein Obama as our next president of the United States of America. I believe his empathy for our people and his leadership over the last 4 years has been exemplary. His detractors are going to tell you that the economy is a mess and it's his fault. What they fail to mention is that President Bush's administration caused a near depression that raised the unemployment rate 3% from when he took office, and as a country, we were losing over 700,000 jobs a month when he left office. President Obama took measures to stop the depression and has added jobs for 3 years straight, every month for 3 years straight, for a total of over 5 million jobs. President Obama. That's the guy who I'm going to be voting for tomorrow. They'll also tell you that President Obama's reckless spending will cause generations in the future to be stuck with the bill. They love to use the phrase spending on a credit card. What they won't tell you is that President Bush was given a surplus and he blew through it with his own reckless spending. 2 wars, tax cuts for the rich, policies that benefited the lenders, I should say, not the people. They want to go back to those policies while telling you that the progress we've made the last 3 years have been a failure. Detractors of our commander-in-chief will tell you that our policies and behavior in Libya led to the death of 4 Americans, including our diplomat, Chris Stevens. One of the mothers of those people that was killed actually came out publicly and said that President Obama, quote, murdered her son. What they won't tell you is that the policies and behaviors in Libya also led, in part, to the death of Muammar Gaddafi. I'm no fan of American deaths abroad, obviously, but it's awfully hypocritical for these same detractors who supported President Bush's vendetta in that region, which led to those 2 wars, thousands of deaths, American hatred worldwide, all on what we now know as revenge against 9/11, weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, okay. We know that was pretty much misguided because President Bush failed to get the real perpetrator of 9/11. That was left to President Obama and his common knowledge that there were no weapons of mass destruction. It was a lie. Many of those detractors of President Obama have no problem with the lies because their candidate, Willard Mitt Romney, has told lots of them. Mr. Romney said he's going to repeal the Health Care Act in its entirety on day 1. He's also on record as saying that he'd keep parts of it. So which is it? One of them is a lie. He also said he's going to work hard to keep American jobs from going to China. But his own company, Sensata, owned by Bain Capital, is sending jobs to China today. Okay? Weeks ago, they had the Chinese come to the United States to train on their grounds to send the jobs to China. So which one is it? One of them is a lie. He also says regulation is essential. Then he says we have to cut back on regulations. He says he won't cut taxes on the rich. Then he says he's going to cut taxes by 20% for everybody, including the 1%. Really? Which is it? Because one of them is definitely a lie. The reality is one of these men is likely to be the president of the United States tomorrow. And if you believe the polls, half of the country is going to be pissed. Are we going to take our energy fighting him at every single turn, or are we going to work within the system and employ our representatives, local, because all government is local? We're going to employ them to speak for us and support the winner. It's okay to disagree, but let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable. People, if your guy doesn't win tomorrow, keep you cool, act like you got some decorum and some dignity, and let's move on. Because remember, it's our country, not yours, not mine, ours. So we must support whatever man we elect to lead us. That's the Murr. Marcus' unrelated rant that ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about here tonight. It's the end of the show. Gonna leave it there. Thank you for everybody that listened to us. Go out tomorrow, vote your conscience. Hopefully your conscience is to re-elect President Barack Hussein Obama to a second term as president of these United States of America. I want to say peace to all the stars and all the squares and the abundance of water. The fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley. Ain't no ass stepping with Marcus J. Be back next week. Peace.